Picture this: the moment before the first sunrise, when the cosmos was still figuring out its rhythm. An ink-black ocean surges, a liquid nightmare, and something the length of a mountain range, something ancient and unknowable, slides just beneath the surface. Onshore, a single hoof, each toe the size of a house. Each step a tremor presses down, and the very continent shivers. Two monsters, older than the Bible, older than the gods you think you know, locking eyes across the primordial waters. One breath, and the planet tilts on its axis. Stick around, because the story you assume you know about these colossal chaos beasts, that's just a footnote to a much grander, more terrifying epic. Most of us first encounter Leviathan and Behemoth in the dramatic verses of the Book of Job, and we naturally assume that's their grand debut. But here's the secret: Job isn't the beginning. It's more like the epilogue, a late chapter in a saga that spans millennia, long before Israel's poets ever penned a single line. Before the ink dried on any sacred scroll, ancient whispers carried tales of these titans. Imagine Canaanite sailors, battling the unforgiving Mediterranean, muttering prayers and cursing Lotan, the seven-headed sea serpent whose thrashing could capsize entire fleets. Meanwhile, in the Fertile Crescent, Mesopotamian scribes were meticulously carving the likeness of Tiamat, the saltwater mother of dragons and primordial chaos, into clay tablets, her monstrous form embodying the very essence of the untamed deep. Behemoth's roots plunge just as deep into humanity's shared mythological soil. Sumerian tablets, weathered by time, sing praises to the majestic bull of heaven, a creature of immense power and untamed might. Egyptian hymns roar about the chaos bull, a colossal beast whose thunderous hooves could stamp the desert flat, reshaping the very landscape with its raw, primal strength. These aren't just isolated myths. They're echoes across cultures, hinting at a shared, ancient understanding of cosmic forces. Today, we're rewinding the tape past the eloquent rabbis, past the diligent scribes, past the careful redactors until we hit the primordial sandbox where these two chaos titans were already ancient, already legendary, already woven into the fabric of creation myths. We're going back to the very first breath of the world to understand how these elemental forces came to be. Out of the abyss, out of the churning, formless void, Leviathan was woven on the fifth day of creation. Not just born, but woven, suggesting an intricate, terrifying masterpiece of divine design. The bards of Ugarit, with their lyres and their epic poetry, knew her intimately, calling her Lotan, the serpentine terror. She wasn't just a big snake. She had 7 heads, each one a gaping maw, belching black silt and corrosive venom, enough to clog the oars of even the mighty storm god Baal's ships. The stories tell us that when Baal finally struck her down, a shudder of relief ran through the cosmos. The sea itself exhaled, because for once, the waves weren't trying to murder the sky. It was a victory, a monumental taming of the wild, a moment when order asserted itself, even if just for a while. Hebrew poets, ever the master adapters, adopted this dramatic scene but cleverly swapped the victor. Instead of a pantheon of storm gods, it was the lone sovereign deity, Yahweh, who crushed the heads of Leviathan and in a breathtaking display of cosmic power, gave her immense carcass as food to the creatures of the wilderness. That single line from Psalm 74 packs an unbelievable punch, doesn't it? It's not just a declaration of victory. It's a profound act of mealtime humiliation for chaos itself. The ultimate symbol of untamed power, reduced to sustenance for scavengers. It's a statement of absolute dominion, a divine mic drop that reverberates through the ages. But Job, that magnificent dramatist, simply wouldn't let the monster die so quickly or so quietly. He drags Leviathan back onto the cosmic stage in chapter 41, not as a vanquished foe, but as an active, terrifying force. And he hands us, the readers, arguably the most detailed and awe-inspiring description of sea dragon in all of antiquity. He challenges us, almost taunts us. Can you draw out Leviathan with a fishhook? His undersides are jagged potsherds, sharp enough to shred the sea itself. He sneezes flashes of light. His eyes glow like the breaking of dawn. Out of his mouth go burning torches. Sparks of fire leap forth. This isn't just poetic license. It's a portrait of absolute, unbridled power. What Job describes isn't your average croc, or even a glorified whale. This is a self-heating biological furnace, plated in impenetrable mail, circling the ocean depths like a living, breathing trench. His scales are like shields, his breath a conflagration, his heart as hard as stone. Try to harpoon him, and you'll quickly discover that the harpoon and the foolish soul wielding it were always the prey. Leviathan is the ultimate do-not-touch sign on the cosmic ocean. So, why keep something so dangerous, so utterly destructive on the divine payroll? Ancient rabbis, with their unparalleled knack for finding profound meaning in every verse, argued that Leviathan served a crucial, almost paradoxical, purpose. She was the pressure valve of creation. Let the sea bottle its own boundless fury, they reasoned. Let it coil that unfathomable, destructive energy into a single terrifying entity, so the rest of the vast, chaotic waters could behave. One monster, contained, equals global calm. It's a brilliant, if terrifying, piece of cosmic engineering. Other rabbinic traditions, even more dramatically, insisted that Leviathan was originally female, and there was a male counterpart. But God, in his infinite wisdom, noticed the potential for two such beings to reproduce, to unleash an unending lineage of chaos upon the world. And promptly, decisively, he filed a cosmic restraining order, a divorce by slaughter. He slew the male Leviathan, preserving only the female, or vice versa, ensuring that this ultimate force of chaos could never multiply and overwhelm creation. Either way you slice it, the message remains stark and clear. Chaos is useful, perhaps even necessary, but only when it is singular, contained, and on a very, very short leash. It's a reminder that even the most terrifying forces can be part of a larger, divine plan. If you're enjoying this deep-sea excavation into the primal forces of myth, do me a favor, tap that like button. It's how the algorithm knows people still crave myth with teeth, stories that bite back a little. And seriously, drop a comment telling me which head of Leviathan you'd dare to look in the eye. The first, the third, or the seventh, the one that probably holds all the secrets. And hey, if you want more lore that predates even the legendary Library of Alexandria, go ahead and subscribe. We're just getting started. Now, from the churning, abyssal depths of the sea, we turn to the solid, unyielding earth. On the sixth day, while Leviathan was still learning just how sharp her scales truly were, God sculpted a magnificent, colossal partner piece. Behemoth, described in the book of Job as the chief of the ways of God. It's a title that implies not just size, but significance. A creature that stands as a testament to divine power. Job 40 sketches him in hyperbole so wild, so utterly mind-bending, that modern translators and theologians have argued for everything from an elephant, to a colossal hippopotamus, to even a sauropod dinosaur. The description is truly unparalleled. He eats grass like an ox, yet his strength is in his loins, his power in the muscles of his belly. He bends his tail like a cedar. The sinews of his thighs are knit together. His bones are tubes of bronze, his limbs like bars of iron. Let's pause on that tail, shall we? Have you ever watched an elephant's tail? It's a relatively small, almost comical fly swatter. A cedar, on the other hand, is a 40-foot tree trunk, solid and unyielding. Something doesn't quite add up, does it? Unless, of course, we're talking about a creature whose vertebrae are literally tree trunks, whose sheer mass and power redefine what it means to be a land animal. This isn't just a big beast. it's a living, breathing landscape feature. Step outside the biblical narrative, and the second book of Enoch, an ancient apocryphal text, hands us what feel like cosmic GPS coordinates for this Leviathan of the land. Behemoth lives in an invisible desert east of Eden. Not just any desert, mind you, but a wasteland so utterly lethal, so primordial and untouched, that it's simply off the human map. It's a place where only a creature of Behemoth's magnitude could possibly exist. He doesn't hunt. That would imply effort and a need for protein. Instead, he simply grazes, because when you weigh as much as a mountain range, when your very existence is a force of nature, protein is almost optional. Each evening, with a casual, almost indifferent gesture, he drags the entire river of paradise toward him with one massive horn, drinks half its immense volume, and then lets gravity and the natural order redistribute the rest. The rabbis, with their characteristic wit, suggest that this is precisely why the Jordan River always seems so out of breath, so perpetually hurried. It's still recovering from Behemoth's nightly thirst. Symbolically, Behemoth is the anchor. If Leviathan is the swirling question mark of chaos, will the sea behave? Will it swallow us whole? Then, Behemoth is the resounding exclamation point of stability. He is the immovable object, the tectonic plate that steadfastly refuses to drift, the gravitational constant that keeps the very ground beneath our myths from turning into soup. He is the embodiment of terrestrial power, of the Earth's raw, unyielding strength. Yet, and this is the paradox, the same ancient texts insist he is still, fundamentally, chaos. Why? Because untamed strength, even when it's standing perfectly still, even when it's anchoring the world, remains profoundly dangerous. It's a reminder that even stability, when it's beyond human comprehension or control, can be a terrifying force. Behemoth is chaos, but chaos on solid ground, a different flavor of the untamed, but no less formidable. So with these two titans established, picture the entire planet as an immense seesaw, delicately balanced on the knife edge of existence. On one side, Leviathan thrashes in the abyssal depths. A serpentine coils, creating tidal waves that threaten to engulf continents. Every wave is a massive, watery hand, trying to yank the earth into the deep, into the primal chaos from which it emerged. On the other side, Behemoth braces, his colossal hooves sunk deep into the bedrock, his immense weight and unyielding strength shoving back, maintaining the equilibrium. This delicate, terrifying balance wasn't some cosmic accident. It was the first covenant, a primordial agreement etched into the very fabric of creation. God, the ultimate architect, sets these two incomprehensibly powerful monsters at opposite ends of the cosmos and, in essence, says, stay there. Maintain this tension. And if you do, creation stays sane. Order holds. But ancient rabbis, bless their imaginative hearts, love a good sequel, especially one involving an epic showdown. In the venerable tractate Bava Batra, they don't just hint at it. They predict a final, earth-shattering wrestling match. At the very end of days, when all history is played out, God himself will stage a cosmic cage fight unlike anything humanity has ever conceived. Leviathan, roused from her millennia-long slumber, will slither across dry seabeds, her scales scraping against the exposed ocean floor. Behemoth, stirred from his invisible desert, will lumber through broken mountains, his footsteps echoing like thunder through a shattered world. And then, at the precise point where horizon meets shore, where the sea yields to the land, these two titans will collide. For a moment, the entire universe, every star, every galaxy, every particle of existence will hold its breath. The clash will be unimaginable, a symphony of primordial power unleashed. But it won't last forever. In a final decisive act, God personally intervenes, ending the brawl, slaying both beasts. And then, in a twist that is both profound and utterly bizarre, he repurposes their colossal bodies, Leviathan's iridescent, impenetrable skin becomes a magnificent tent, a celestial canopy under which the righteous will gather. Behemoth's immense primal meat becomes the most exquisite steak imaginable, a banquet of cosmic proportions. The righteous, those who have endured and remained faithful, will recline under the shelter of Leviathan's skin and dine on Behemoth's flesh, a picnic that celebrates chaos tamed, transformed into cuisine and architecture. It's the ultimate reversal, isn't it? The very things that once threatened to unmake the world, the embodiments of primordial chaos, end up as lunch and shelter. It's a powerful metaphor for divine sovereignty, for the ultimate triumph of order over chaos, and for the promise that even the most terrifying aspects of existence can be redeemed and repurposed for good. It promises that the forces that challenge us, the chaos that threatens to overwhelm us, can ultimately become the source of our sustenance and our comfort. Quick time out here. If you've made it this far, congratulations. You've officially survived 2 monster encounters without being harpooned by a sea serpent or inadvertently sat on by a land beast. That's a badge of honor right there. Now, smash that share button so your friends can test their survival odds too. And let me know in the comments, would you rather bunk under Leviathan's scale shingles, providing cosmic shelter, or grill behemoth burgers for eternity, dining on the ultimate feast? Down below, choose your after party. But to truly understand this story, we have to run the fossils back even further, tracing the mythological DNA of these creatures. Leviathan's ancient ancestor, the primordial blueprint for the sea serpent, is undeniably Tiamat, the saltwater personified in the Babylonian epic, the Enuma Elish. She was the mother of monsters, a chaotic force that had to be defeated for the cosmos to be formed. When the hero god Marduk slices her colossal carcass in two, he doesn't just defeat her. He uses her body to build the world. He folds half into the sky, creating the firmament, and half into the sea, forming the watery deep, precisely the cosmic split that Leviathan will later guard, embodying the untamed deep-sea realm. The parallels are too striking to ignore. The biblical Leviathan is a direct descendant, a powerful reinterpretation of that ancient Chaoskampf motif. Behemoth's granddaddy, the progenitor of the terrestrial titan, is clearly the bull of heaven from the epic of Gilgamesh, sent by the god Anu to trample the hero Gilgamesh for daring to refuse the goddess Ishtar. This celestial bull is a force of untamed, destructive power on land. Sound familiar? It's the same job description, really. Divine muscle, land edition. An embodiment of raw, terrestrial might unleashed. These aren't just coincidences. They are clear lines of mythological inheritance, showing how ancient cultures grappled with the same fundamental questions about chaos and order. Even the names themselves carry centuries of baggage, of meaning steeped in ancient languages. Leviathan isn't just a cool-sounding word. It comes from the Hebrew root loldabu, meaning to coil, to twist, to entwine. Think about it. Spirals, whirlpools, the chaotic, unpredictable movements of the deep. Even the very double helixes of disorder. The name itself evokes the serpentine, the untamed, the endlessly coiling nature of the sea. And behemoth? It's a Hebrew pluralized loanword, likely from the Egyptian PMO, which translates literally to the water ox. This etymology subtly hints at a creature of immense size and power, one intimately connected to the life-giving and sometimes overwhelming force of rivers. A creature so vast it can drink rivers dry. These etymologies aren't just linguistic curiosities. They are ancient footprints across centuries. Undeniable proof that these monsters toured the entire ancient world, leaving their colossal imprints long before they finally settled down and became central figures in Israel's sacred texts. They are a testament to humanity's universal fascination with and fear of the untamed forces of nature. That fascination hasn't faded. It has followed us fast-forwarding into our own century. A world of satellites and smartphones, where we find Leviathan and Behemoth aren't gathering dust in forgotten texts. Far from it. Leviathan shows up on national flags, a symbol of naval power or maritime heritage. She appears in countless fantasy novels, her serpentine form inspiring countless dragons and sea monsters. She even lends her name and image to the logo of a certain deep-sea research sub, a testament to the enduring mystery of the ocean's depths. Behemoth, meanwhile, haunts heavy metal albums, his colossal presence perfect for conveying raw, crushing power. He's been the namesake of Soviet-era rockets, a symbol of overwhelming, earth-shaking force. Why this incredible staying power? Why do these ancient beasts continue to resonate so deeply with us thousands of years later? Psychologists might tell us they are archetypes, primal images embedded in our collective unconscious, the uncontrollable forces that exist just outside the flickering light of our campfires, beyond the boundaries of our carefully constructed order. They represent the ultimate other, the things we cannot tame, cannot fully comprehend. Environmentalists, with a grim sort of humor, might joke that we finally managed to build our own Leviathan, the vast, swirling plastic gyres in the oceans, countries of trash, a man-made chaos that chokes the deep. And perhaps we've created our own behemoth, the open-pit mines that eat away at mountains, the industrial complexes that scarred the land, manifestations of humanity's insatiable appetite and transformative power. Every time we confront a system too big to jail, a problem too vast to solve with a simple policy, a force that feels utterly beyond our control, we resurrect the chaos beasts. We intuitively understand that we're facing something primal, something titanic. The crucial difference, however, lies in our approach. The ancients, in their wisdom, admitted that only a power above nature, a divine hand, could collar these beasts, could keep them from utterly destroying creation. They recognized a limit to human agency. We, on the other hand, still seem to believe that spreadsheets, committees, and carefully worded regulations might suffice. We think we can manage chaos with human tools, forgetting that some forces are simply too grand, too elemental, to be contained by our cleverness. These myths serve as a stark, humbling reminder of that ancient truth. So, what's the practical takeaway from all this ancient lore, these tales of cosmic titans? What do you do when your own personal Leviathan rears its serpentine head? A crisis so vast, so overwhelming, it blots out your personal sun, threatening to drag you into its depths. Or when a behemoth crushes your carefully laid plans underfoot, a force of circumstance so immense, it feels like the very ground beneath you has shifted. The old texts, in their profound wisdom, hint at a strategy for engaging with the chaos that inevitably comes our way. Name it, frame it, and ultimately, feast on it. First, name the chaos. Give it a label. Articulate the fear, the challenge, the overwhelming force you're facing. The act of reduction to language has an almost magical effect. It shrinks it. It makes the abstract, crushing weight of the unknown a little more tangible, a little less terrifying. You can't fight what you can't define. Second, frame it inside boundaries. Just as God set sea gates for Leviathan and river banks for Behemoth, we must establish boundaries around our own chaos. This could mean setting aside dedicated time to address a problem, seeking professional therapy, or building a supportive community to share the burden. These frames don't eliminate the chaos, but they contain it, preventing it from overwhelming every aspect of your life. Finally, and perhaps most profoundly, feast on it. This is the ultimate act of transformation. Convert the experience, the struggle, the raw energy of the chaos into fuel. Write the book about your struggle. Start the support group. Build the charity that addresses the very problem that once threatened to consume you. Take the lessons learned, the strength gained, the resilience forged in the crucible of chaos, and make it your sustenance. Make it the source of new meaning, new purpose, new growth. You don't just survive the monster. You consume it, taking its power into yourself, transforming it into something life-affirming. We started this journey with a cold open, a chilling image of a primal planet teetering precariously between two colossal titans. We end with that same powerful image, only now. We know their resins stretch back not just millennia, but into the very mists of prehistory. Leviathan is not just a big fish. She is the oceanic unknown, the untamed, churning abyss that predates monotheism itself, a force that reminds us of the precariousness of our existence. Behemoth is not just a hippo on steroids. He's the solid, unyielding ground beneath our feet. A constant, powerful reminder that solidity and danger often share the very same bones. Together, these two magnificent, terrifying beasts teach us a profound paradox. Chaos isn't the absence of order. No, that's too simplistic. Chaos is, in fact, the raw, unformed material. The primordial clay that order hasn't yet invited to dinner. It's the potential, the wild energy, waiting to be shaped, contained, and ultimately transformed. And when the last page of this cosmic story turns, when the final act is played out, the ancient narrative insists that those very monsters become dinner. And the guests, the honored diners, are us. So, the next time life feels too big, too overwhelming, too chaotic, remember this ancient promise. Remember that someone, somewhere, is already seasoning the grill. The chaos might be terrifying now, but one day, it might just be the most satisfying meal you've ever had.